This episode of Best Bets is brought to you by BUSR, the official sportsbook of Matt O'Leary and Y. Head on over to busr.com/Matt and receive a 150% free play bonus up to $2,500. First deposit only. Get in on the action at BUSR. Hello and welcome back to Best Bets. What is going on? I am Matt O'Leary alongside Newsday's NFL pick columnist Joe Manniello. Joe, how's it going?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Doing pretty good. It was a good week for you in the divisional round, going 3-1 against the spread brings you to 58, 56-4. I went 2-2, so I'm at 56, 60-2, and we have two pretty good games here in the conference championship. Should be exciting.
Yeah, probably the best four teams all year, so I think it's two great matchups.
Absolutely. So we'll get started taking a look at the Eagles and the 49ers. The Eagles are favored here, -2.5. What's the feel?
Yeah, I think it should be a great game. Both teams are great at the line of scrimmage on both sides, defensive line, offensive line. So I think it's going to be a throwback kind of game, low-scoring game. I like the under a lot in this game. That'd be my best play of the week, probably, the under. For this game at least, but I feel like I think the 49ers can win, but I like the Eagles. They were my pick before the year to win the NFC. I thought Jalen Hurts was going to have a big year. He's been tremendous. Last week I was a little worried about his shoulder. We both bought into the Giants underdog story. That didn't work out, but you saw last week when he's on, when that Eagles team is going. I mean, they're the best team in football. They've been the best team all year. In games he starts, they're 15-1. They had that one hiccup Monday night against Washington when the offense had the ball for like 19 minutes. They never had the ball. And people have been saying it for weeks. When's Brock Purdy going to cost the Niners? I've been reluctant to say that because I think he's played great. And but last week he didn't do much, but he didn't turn the ball over, unlike Dak Prescott. And that was a big reason why they won. I'm not taking a shot at Dak, just saying that Purdy hasn't made the mistakes. But I think this week this is just too. I think it's too tall an order here. Philly's one of the toughest places to play. The hostile road environment. Stakes have never been higher. And I mean, he's 7-0 as a starter. Niners have won 12 in a row, but I think it ends this week. I think they fall just short. So second straight year in the title game. And Eagles had the best pass rush all year, 70 sacks during the regular season. 5 last week against the Giants. I think they get after him. I have it 20-17 Philly. I think they cover the 2.5. I could even see him being my hot take is that I'm not going to say it fully, but I wouldn't be shocked if there's not one touchdown in this whole game, like a throwback Giants, Matt Barr, Niners game, 15-12 kind of game.
Okay.
Where I think that was the score, 15-12 or 15-3 or whatever. But I can see this being a really low scoring game. Niners are just going to pound the ball a lot. They're not going to have Purdy throw too much because the pass rush is just so dominant. Rookies starting a title game 0-4, including your boy Mark Sanchez.
Yep.
I just don't see. I think it's too tall an order here for the Brock Purdy to get it done, and I think Jalen Hurts does enough. I don't think he's going to run much because the Niners have the best run defense in the league, but they're beatable on the outside on this quarterback. So I think maybe a big play to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith for a big play, set up a scoring drive and low scoring game. Eagles grind it out and get to the Super Bowl.
There you go. Yeah, so I'm going to take the Eagles as well, -2.5. And I've been on the 49ers really a lot during this whole stretch. I think they've played unbelievable football. And they've been on this, the 12-game winning streak. And Brock Purdy has been a great story. He has his name in the Rookie of the Year conversation. He's one of the finalists. And, has done just enough. They don't ask him to do a lot, but Kyle Shanahan's a great play caller and putting him in a great spot. But the more that these playoffs have gone on, the more that I think the 49ers are going to have to rely on the run game, especially against this Philadelphia team. And I agree. I think it leans towards being a more of a low-scoring game with how these two teams are going to end up playing. But I think I was underrating or underappreciating just how good Philadelphia is when Jalen Hurts is healthy. I was not expecting that at all. Last week, that 38-7 beat down on the Giants, especially, the last time we saw these two teams play. It was a tight game, 22-16, and the Giants were resting starters, and it seemed like, okay, they can maybe hang around here. But when the Eagles are on, as you said, they're the best team in the league. They've proved it time and time again. I think they're able to get this one done at home, and they advance in the NFC to the Super Bowl. I'll go 23-17 Eagles here in this one. As for the AFC, it should be a fun game. The Kansas City Chiefs are hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. The Chiefs are slight favorites. -1 is the spread here. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I've been on the Bengals bandwagon since early December, right around the time they beat the Chiefs for the third straight time. I mean, Joe Burrow is 3-0 against Mahomes. So they beat him in Week 13. They beat him last year, Week 17, and then they beat him last year in the title game, and they were down 21-3, came back and won. We all know that game. Last year, I was saying there was no way that the Chiefs were going to lose that game after the way they beat the Bills, and just goes to show you that anything can happen. For me, the Bengals, I mean, they just continue to get things done. Last week they were down 3 offensive linemen. They went into Buffalo. The snow kind of helped them in a way because it neutralized the pass rush. That's what the experts said on TV, at least. But it made sense. But I don't know. I feel like I'm not betting against Joe Burrow. Better get those refunds. I'm not betting against. I'm not trying to get no refunds because to me, they just continue to find ways to win. As great as Burrow is, there's 3-0 on the road in the playoffs. So a tweet that he had more playoff road wins than Peyton Manning, and it's 5-1. And during his back-to-back run last year, a lone loss in the Super Bowl, and they could have won that game too. I mean, that was a great game. So I mean, the Bengals, I'm not betting against them. I like them. I think these are two evenly matched teams. But I mean, the elephant in the room is Mahomes' injury. I mean, I would have taken the Bengals. Mahomes was 100%. So how do I not take them now? They just have their number. They're not going to be intimidated by going into Arrowhead like most teams might be. And Mahomes can say all he wants, and you saw him last week in the second half. He was hobbling after a handoff. So to me, Mahomes, what makes him the best quarterback in the league is his ability to improvise and make something out of nothing, and without being able to scramble the way he's not going to be able to do that. So they're going to have to alter the game plan. And the Bengals defensive coordinator Lou Amorano, hope I'm saying his name right, but the Long Island guy, or Staten Island guy who got his coaching start at Merchant Marine Academy on Long Island. He's done a tremendous job the last 2 years in the playoffs. Continues to adjust, and I think they'll be ready for whatever Andy Reid and the Chiefs throw at them. I could see the Chiefs struggling a lot in this game on offense. I don't know why the spread's up to 1. I guess it's because Mahomes spoke yesterday and said he's ready to go, and they showed him practicing, but he's not going to be 100%. And the Bengals, they just have their number. And to me, all the pressure's on Kansas City, even though Mahomes hurt. They don't want to lose back-to-back title games at home. So I love the Bengals here, and I also like the idea that they're playing like a chip on their shoulder. Late in the season, because of the Week 17 cancellation game, there was a talk about if the Bengals and Ravens had tied. If the Ravens had won that Week 18 game at Cincinnati, it would have been like a coin flip to determine who wins the AFC North. They were upset about that. And then last week they started selling tickets. The NFL started selling tickets to the neutral site game in advance. They were not happy about that. I mentioned it before, after the game, Burrow said better get those refunds of people who had already bought tickets for a game that isn't going to happen. So I just feel like everything's working in Cincinnati's favor on the field, off the field. They got the mojo. They got the underdog story, chip on their shoulder. I think they get back to the big game here. I have it 27-20. I wouldn't be surprised if it's even more lopsided. I do not like Mahomes not being 100%. I think the Chiefs offense is going to struggle a lot. So I got the Bengals 27-20. I like both unders, and Bengals Eagles Super Bowl.
There we go. Not to be chalk with you here, but I'm going to go with the same thing as you, Bengals +1, because as you mentioned, man, the Mahomes injury I think is going to play a big factor in it. I know he was walking around a little bit after the press conference, and people said that he looked good. But I mean, we saw the injury. We saw how he played at the end of that game against Jacksonville. He looked completely different, and kudos to him and good on him for being able to get out there and continue the game and play this upcoming week. But Cincinnati, they just have their number. As you said, they beat them already earlier in the year. They beat them in the conference championship last year. And this Bengals team, they just feel like they're on one of those runs. They started the year 4-4. They were kind of just hanging around. They've rattled off 10 in a row. Burrow's looked unreal. He's, rising up everyone's quarterback rankings, and a lot of people are putting him as the number 2 quarterback behind Patrick Mahomes. But I think he wins this game. I think he goes to the Super Bowl, and I know we have our Super Bowl picks in a couple weeks, but I think I already know which way I'm leaning there if they get there. But this Bengals team, it seems like over the last 2 years, they flipped the switch in January. That defense especially really comes alive. They've only allowed 17 points in the first matchup and then 10 to Buffalo last week. They've kept opponents under 20 points in their last 4 games. They're playing their best football, and I think that continues on the road in Kansas City this week.
Yep.
All right, so to recap, only the 2 games. Both Joe and I are on the Eagles minus 2.5. In the NFC side, for the AFC side, both on Cincinnati +1. Joe, good luck this week, and we'll talk again in a couple weeks to talk Super Bowl.
All right, Matt. Good luck. Thanks, man.